Hare Krishna. Welcome all devotees to the Gita Daily session. So thanks for joining. So today we'll be discussing Bhagavad Gita, Sloka number 4.10. So let's take the blessings of the Lord Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Maya Sudarshan, God Nitai, Lakshmi Narasimha Panchatattva. By their blessings, we hope that we can understand the transcendental topics. So let's start the prayers. Om Adnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhudale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Let's dedicate the session to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. By whose mercy, we are able to understand the complex topics of Bhagavad Gita in a simple and practical way. So let's thank Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So let's recite today's sloka, the 10th sloka from chapter 4. Vidaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mamupashidam bahavo jnana tapasa buddha madbhavamagadaha. Repetition. Vidaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mamupashidam bahavo jnana tapasa buddha madbhavamagadaha. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me, and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me. Let's see the word to word meaning. Vida, freed from, raga, attachment, bhaya, fear, krodha, and anger, matmaya, fully in me, mam, in me, upashida, being fully situated, bahava, many, jnana, of knowledge, tapasa, by the penance, buddha, being purified, madbhavam, transcendental love for me, agada, attained. So we'll read the translation one more time. Being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me, and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me. So we'll again try to recap the context. So we are discussing chapter 4, transcendental knowledge, and we saw briefly, in the past sessions, what is the authenticity of Vedic knowledge, who can understand this Vedic knowledge. One has to be a devotee of the Lord, right, to understand the transcendental topics. And so yesterday, actually, we saw that how is the Lord's nature, appearance and disappearance, how it is transcendental. We saw that. Then Magarmajame Divyam. So that what it means is that Lord is giving the secret formula, how actually one can free from cycle of birth and death and attain the highest perfection, right? By understanding the Lord, by knowing the Lord's appearance and disappearance, which are transcendental. So what actually it implies, we understood is that the people who are understand one is a devotee of the Lord, right? People who are materialistically inclined, and even though they may be very knowledgeable and learned, without the mercy of the Lord and without devotion to the Lord, the transcendental topics of the Lord cannot be understood. And when we understand the truth, knowledge, the transcendental topics in truth, that actually means that when we understand in truth, then we actually become a devotee. We surrender to the Lord, because understanding that Vasudeva Sarvamiti, so Samahatma Sudurlabha. So such a person who actually understands the Lord actually is the source of everything. He is very rare. So when you understand the Lord in truth, that means that we already saw the shloka, right? Vedesha Sarver Ahameva Vedyo. So the purpose of knowing all the Vedas is to understand who the Supreme Lord is. So when one thus gains that knowledge, the result is that he will surrender naturally to the Lord. No, he he tries to re-establish his lost relationship with the Lord. And the result of becoming a devotee of the Lord is that Krishna says that Punarjanma, no, he will not take Janma again, and actually he attains my abode. So today the Lord is again continuing and re-emphasizing the point. Here actually we'll in this shloka we see that the Lord is giving example in the past how many great souls, have attained the Lord by actually becoming free from raga, bhaya, and krodha. So what actually is raga, bhaya, and krodha? So these are actually symbols or symbolification of the material existence. So we have seen that this raga and krodha, in second chapter, right? We saw that shloka where how the series of incidents, sequence of incidents which result in the fall down of the jiva, right? So Dhyayado Vishayan Pumsa Sangaste Shubhajayade, right? That shloka. So what it means is that initially the jiva contemplates on the material sense objects and it develops attachment, which is raga, right? And then krodha, when the attachment is unfulfilled, we person become angry, and krodha actually is resulting, no, frustration when the desires are obstructed. So today, one more point, one more aspect Lord is adding is the fear, bhaya. So these characteristics are, some of the most common characteristics of the conditioned soul. That attachment to the material things, because it thinks that the material things are, or important, or that they are everything. When the jiva identifies himself with the body, then all the material things becomes very important, because the jiva has come to the material world to enjoy the material world, right? Because he wants to enjoy independent of the Lord. The material world provides a facility where he can forget Krishna and he can try to enjoy. So this raga attachment is one of the fundamental reasons for the jiva's entanglement in the material world, because there are unlimited sense objects in the material world. No? The Maya supplies so many sense objects for the jiva to enjoy, and one after another, no, jiva keeps trying to enjoy these sense objects. No? He becomes attached to various things. So some of the attachments are gross, and some of the attachments are subtle. So both actually minds the jiva. So gross attachments are very easy to understand. Attachment to food, attachment to, the opposite gender, attachment to like various facilities, material facilities like money, wealth, luxuries. So these are the gross attachment. And subtle attachment is on the mental platform. The jiva contemplates various things. No, so even if he cannot physically obtain certain things, in the mind actually he dreams, or no, he imagines that no, he is enjoying, right? So he contemplates. So this way the jiva actually, externally he may appear as a gentleman, but internally he may be contemplating on the senses objects. So, I have seen that Vishaya Univartante Nirahara Sadevina Rasavarjam Rasobhyam Sim Param Drishto Nivartade. Even though externally, you may be controlled by, controlling senses, but the mind may be still engaged in sense objects. So this subtle attachment also binds the jiva, because what is manifested in the mind will soon later, in reality. So it's just a matter of time. So whatever we think, whatever we contemplate in the mind, when we get an opportunity, right, sooner or later, they actually converts into real. They actually, the jiva tries to execute it in the real world. So this way, the attachment actually, keep binding the jiva, because the desire of the jiva is like the waves of the ocean. It is never ends, one after another. No, when you satisfy one desire, another desire comes. Like that, it is infinite. So the jiva continues in its, cycle of birth and death, because of all the attachment and desires he accumulates. Next life he again gets another body, to continue to fulfilling his desire. So basically in the process he again develops new desire. So this process continues infinitely. So the acharyas and great devotees like Prahlad Maharaj says that this is like, chewing the chewed, or puna charvida charvanam. So charvida charvanam means chewing the chewed. So for example, a cow when it grazes in the field, it actually, it doesn't fully eats, digest the grass. So actually it stores the grass, and when it rests actually it brings the grass back and it chews it, right? So this is chewing the chewed. So also the example of sugarcane is given. No, the sugarcane, if you go to a sugarcane vendor, so basically we see that, no, he puts the sugarcane again and again, and tries to extract every juice, every bit or every drop of juice from the sugarcane. So the jiva actually has done all these things, in many lifetimes. We have tried to extract everything, all the enjoyment, but we are not satisfied. Again, we are trying to enjoy. We want to enjoy in this life also. So this way, the jiva actually is under illusion, that actually he can become happy in the material world. Right? And anger, we saw that this anger is also one of the, there are three gates of hell we have seen, right? Gates of hell. So kama, krodha, and lobha, right? So these are actually definite paths of hell, because anger actually results in the jiva becoming blind and forgetting his memory, right? He commits many sinful activities because of anger. So, and the one new aspect the Lord introduced in this sloka is the fear, bhaya. So, jiva, actually, all the jivas, in the material world, they are under constant anxiety and fear. Mainly, the most important fear is the fear of death, right? So they are always worried, actually, when a harm may come to me, right? So this way, even every jiva we can see, right? So there are no, there are four things every jiva does. No, ahara, bhaya, nidra, and maiduna, right? That is eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. So the defending actually part, we can see, even any animal, like, if you try to harm, like, it tries to protect itself. So for example, a dog, a dog, actually, a dog which lives in the street, it is on constant fear, that when somebody will attack it. So they cannot sleep peacefully, right? They are always worried. So this way, even human beings also, they are under constant fear. So all these things, the fear actually arises because of fear of death, and the jiva thinks that, this body is everything, right? And then it's afraid of death, and afraid of various calamities that may come upon him. But when one becomes a devotee of the Lord, right, then actually all these aspects, or all these limitations, or all these what the three things, right? Raga, bhaya, and krodha, the jiva can overcome it completely, because the fear can be overcome in two ways. One, by knowledge, that understanding that I am not, no, the body is temporary and the soul actually is eternal. There is no death of the soul, right? So this actually is one. By knowledge, to some extent, the fear can be overcome, and to a greater extent, the fear can be overcome when we actually take shelter of the Lord, because Krishna is the supreme personality of, the source of everything, and He is controlling the material nature. So when we actually take shelter of the Lord, then we develop the faith in the Lord, that the Lord, whatever the Lord does, is best for me, and He will protect me, to the extent which is necessary. So this confidence actually, will help us to overcome the fear. So these are some of the, key aspects of the today's sloka. So we also saw in the previous sloka 2.44, Krishna says that which kind of people doesn't develop no devotion to the Lord. So the sloka, Bhogaishwarya Prasaktanam Tahabrata Chedasam Vyavasayatmaga Buddhi Samadau na Vidyate. So those who are attached to material enjoyment, right? The essence of sloka is that the people who are too much attached to material sense enjoyment, for them, the path of spirituality, is actually inaccessible, or they are not interested, because they are too much engrossed, in sense gratification, that, they want to enjoy the material world, and then they don't want any obstacles in that path. So because they think that, they can enjoy in this material world. So such people find it very difficult to give up the material enjoyment, and then they do not develop interest in the spiritual path, right? So the essence, what we are trying to understand is that, we saw that the Lord actually tells in the previous sloka that by understanding the Lord's activities, Janma Karma, in truth, one actually will not take birth again. So how we can understand the activities of the Lord? That also we saw, right? By actually, by understanding the spiritual topics, by hearing from the pure devotees of the Lord in an authorized disciplic succession, by hearing this in the Krishna Katha, actually one develops attachment to the Lord. We try to understand what is the nature of the Lord. Like we saw that, the Lord, actually, the Lord's beauty, His characteristics, His qualities, His various pastimes that He performs in the spiritual world. When we understand more about spiritual world, then actually we gradually develop an attachment. We develop a desire to go there. So, like for example, when we hear about a place, which is very beautiful, right, some country or some particular place, like, so then actually slowly, when we learn more about that place, we slowly develop an attachment that, okay, I want to see this place, I want to go to this place. So similarly, we need to understand more about the Lord, His activities, pastimes, right? So that way, then we develop the, desire to learn more, and then, we develop the attachment to the Lord. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 7th chapter, 7th sloka, there is a sloka which says that how to destroy, the shoga, moha, and bhaya. Right? It says, Yasyam vai shruyamanayam Krishne Paramapurushe Bhaktir Utpade Pumsa Shoga Moha Bhayavaha. What it means? Simply by giving oral reception to the Vedic literature, to this Vedic literature, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, the feeling for loving devotional service to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. So this material existence is sometimes compared like a forest fire, Dava Mahadavagni. It is called a Davagni because just like a forest fire actually is very difficult to put off. The jiva's desire to enjoy is also similarly very difficult to put it off, right? So actually, and it is full of danger. So that is why it is considered like a forest fire. Metal existence is very difficult to overcome. So but when someone takes to the path of devotional service, so devotional service is like a rain, it's like a cooling shower which actually can destroy this. Only by rain the forest fire can be destroyed. So the devotional service to the Lord is like a cooling shower which only can destroy the fire of forest, forest fire of material existence. So it is very difficult to overcome otherwise, right? So when we thus take shelter of the Lord, and execute devotional service, then we will get freedom from all these things, vida, raga, bhaya, and no lamentation, illusion, and the fear, mainly the fear. So that is a process which is recommended by the acharyas. So, and Krishna also says that many devotees in the past, he attained this perfection by actually performing, by acquiring the knowledge about the Lord and performing devotional service. So we know the examples like Prahlad Maharaj, right? Prahlad Maharaj was tormented by Hiranyakashipu. Actually, so a normal person, this is like a lamentation or a shoka. He was always tormented, right? And he would have been in constant fear. But actually, because he was fully surrendered to the Lord Vishnu, he did not have fear, right? And because of devotion, he could overcome actually the situation. Similarly, Dhruva Maharaj story we will see in little more detail. So today we'll look at that. We have earlier also discussed about Dhruva Maharaj, but we will see how Dhruva Maharaj could overcome these things. So you know that Dhruva Maharaj, he actually was a small boy, and he had two mothers, like his original mother Suniti, and he had a stepmother Suruchi. So and the king actually was favoring the stepmother Suruchi, right? So one day Dhruva wanted to sit on the lap of his father, but actually Suruchi will not allow. He says that no, you are not qualified because you didn't take birth from me, right? So if you want to sit on your father's lap, you have to take birth, from me. So this way, Dhruva was insulted actually, and because he being a Kshatriya, they cannot tolerate even a small boy. Because of Kshatriya nature, he could not tolerate the insult. So he goes to his mother Sunidhi and says, and cryingly, he goes and cry and tells this to his mother. His mother being helpless because the king is not favorable to her. No, so his mother will tell that only the Supreme Lord can help you in this case. No, you actually pray to the Lord like that. Sunidhi. So Sunidhi gives the spiritual instruction to Dhruva, but Dhruva takes it very seriously, and he leaves the home and he goes to the forest. And Narad Muni, who actually is a pure devotee of the Lord, he is always seeking opportunity how he can deliver the soul. So when he sees Dhruva, he actually tries to dissuade him. He's saying that you are a very small boy. No, you cannot live in this forest. No, it's full of dangerous animals, wild animals. You go back to the kingdom. But then Dhruva was so much determined. So the word Dhruva itself means determination, right? So he was so much determined that he was not ready to hear Narad Muni. He told, please tell me a way how I can attain this, my desire. So now his desire was that he wanted to attain a kingdom which is greater than his grandfather. So his grandfather is actually Lord Brahma. So basically, it means that he wanted a full universe. That was his desire. And so basically, he was afflicted by desire, strong desire to attain that moha, right? Or an attachment. He was having too much attachment, that he wanted to attain this kingdom, right? And he had also anger towards his father and his stepmother. So he had all these qualities. So then actually Narad Muni, because he was a pure devotee, Narad Muni instructs him how he actually can perform. He can worship Lord Vishnu so that his desire can be fulfilled. So then Dhruva performed very severe austerities for 6 months. It is mentioned actually. He gradually gave up everything. So initially he used to eat once in few days. Then he stopped eating. Then he stopped drinking. Then he started breathing only once in few days. And finally, he stopped breathing also. So so much severe was his austerities that even the demigods were disturbed. And then they will request Lord Vishnu to please appear and grant his desire. So Lord Vishnu appears before Dhruva Maharaj. And as soon as when Dhruva Maharaj sees the Lord Vishnu, so beautiful, such beautiful transcendental form, he becomes speechless. He cannot speak anything. No, he could not like utter any word because he becomes stunned. Then Lord Vishnu places his conch on his head, and and then he is able to speak. So then, he recites wonderful prayers. Basically, then Dhruva Maharaj, attains, he gets the knowledge, transcendental knowledge, automatically, and he understood that he was so foolish to ask for material benefits. He says that, Lord, oh Lord, I don't need anything because I am able to see you now. No, that is my greatest achievement. I've attained perfection by your darshan. I was aspiring for broken pieces of glasses, right, which is completely invaluable. So this way he actually attains the transcendental knowledge. And then actually, he becomes a devotee of the Lord. But nevertheless, because he had the desire to attain this kingdom, the Lord awards him the planet of Dhruva planet, Dhruva Loka, the pole star. He attains that. So Dhruva Loka actually is considered as the pivot of the entire universe, right? He is controlling the planetary movements. So he attained that planet. Actually, he can live there till very long period of time, and after that, actually, he can go back to the spiritual world. So this way, Dhruva attained the highest perfection, by actually surrendering to the Lord and becoming a devotee. Okay, so what are the key lessons we learned today? So we understood that, by by surrendering to the Lord and taking the devotional path, one can get freed from all the vices, like kama, krodha, lobha, moha, maya, madha, matsarya. We can overcome all these vices. Especially here, it's mentioned attachment, right? Fear and anger. So all these negative qualities will automatically be um overcome by actually becoming a devotee of the Lord, by taking the spiritual path, right? So how, in a practical way, how can we apply in the daily life? So we have to start executing the devotional service, right? By practicing the chanting of the holy name, reading the scriptures. So then transcendental knowledge can be acquired by hearing, very important, hearing from pure devotees of the Lord, and reading the scriptures and chanting the holy name. So then automatically the fear of the material existence, will vanish. Like the fear, we can overcome the forest fire of material existence can be extinguished, by actually the transcendental knowledge, right? Yeah. So with that, I think we'll come to the end of today's time. Are there any questions? If there are any questions, you can please put it in the chat, or you can ask, unmute and ask. So if there are no questions, then we can end the session. So we'll meet every day, same time. If anybody has missed some of the sessions, then actually you can watch it, in the channel.
Prabhu, I have
Yes, bro.
Prabhu, I have a question for you.
Yes, bro. Bro,
Prabhu, you talked about fear, right?
yes.
Can you a little bit elaborate how to over because everybody has fear, right?
How to overcome the fear? There's a question.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the fear actually can be overcome. So all these qualities, which are not desirable, we can overcome by executing devotional service. So the solution is one. The problems are many, right? But the solution is the same. Because when we execute devotional service, we discuss, no. So we naturally, gradually becomes, we surrender to the Lord, right? We understand the Supreme Lord actually is the provider of everything. He is controlling everything. So Krishna says, no, Maya Dhyaksha Prakriti Swedera Sarajaram, right? So he is controlling everything. So he is the source of everything. So when we understand that, no, because the fear is caused by Maya, right? The illusion. Maya actually cast her spell in the material world, and the Jiva's original intelligence and the knowledge is covered. Because of that is the root cause of the fear, and we think that we are the body. The knowledge, the thinking that we are the body, right? That is the root cause of the fear, because the body is temporary, and the Jiva, we are always afraid when the body will be lost, or when the body will be destroyed, right? When will a disease come? So we are always worried when there is a threat to the body. But when first thing is that, by I mentioned, no, two things. One is by knowledge, we overcome the fear, understanding that the body is not temporary. The Atma, which is within the body, is eternal. It cannot be destroyed. So that knowledge, actually, when we really fully realize that knowledge, then our fear will slowly go away, because there is nothing. What is there to fear? No. So fear of death is always there, right? But then second point is that by experiencing the protection of the Lord, right? The Lord actually is the ultimate protector of all the jivas. So when we actually surrender to Krishna and execute devotional service, we will start feeling that protection of the Lord. The Lord is there to protect me. So this feeling is one of the, there are six, no, there is the surrender, actually Sharanagati we call the six limbs of Sharanagati. One of them is actually this feeling that the Lord is my protector and He is my well-wisher. So when we actually advance in devotional service, we start feeling, the Lord is always there to protect me. First of all, He is there in the heart as Paramatma, but we see that the hand of Lord actually in our life. So by experiencing that, the fear will again go away. We feel that shelter, the Lord is there to protect me. Whatever happens, whatever the Lord is doing is for my good. Apparently, it may not appear immediately. That certain things which is happening in our life may not be, for our good. Immediately, it may look difficult or distressful. It may be causing distress, but actually, ultimately, the Lord actually wants us to purify, right? So, thing is that if we want to go to the spiritual world, we have to become purified. In this material contamination, we cannot go. So to become purified, sometimes we are put into different tests. Like just like the gold is purified by putting into the fire, right? All the impurities are removed when it is put in the fire. Similarly, the jiva, because we are so much contaminated, we may have to go through some test or difficulties for purification. So if we lose faith in the Lord, then actually we will lose the journey. Right? We should have the faith. We should have continuous faith in the Lord and depend on the Lord. Then we will be able to overcome all the obstacles. So in Bhagavad Gita, later we will see Krishna, tells Arjuna, right? So that actually, by remembering me and by taking my shelter, you will be able to pass through all these obstacles, Arjuna. So similarly, we have to take shelter of the Lord. So it is not, we cannot become perfect in one day, right? It's a journey. It take many years to become purified, but then we should have faith in the process, and we follow the process, then gradually the fear will go away. Arun Prabhu, hope I have answered your question. Krishna, Arun Prabhu.
Yes, bro. Yes, bro.
Okay, so we'll end here. So thanks all for joining, and we'll meet again tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.